Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Oak Island Research Channel. Today, we're going to do something a bit different than usual. We're not going to go around the La Rochefoucauld map, or we're going to touch it, but I'd like to talk and introduce you today about La Vierge au Rocher, the Virgin of the Rock, which is a Leonardo da Vinci painting. And when we were working with the team, at one point in time, we felt the ingenuity that was in those riddle in the maps, and the more we discover, the more there is to discover. The ingenuity with which that pit and flooding system was built, we're talking about hydraulics there, made us think somebody like Leonardo da Vinci could have been involved at one point in time in that story. And again, it was one of those 20,000 ideas we had. But that's why we're here, and that's what I'm talking. I didn't leave it like this. I was curious enough, so I know Mona Lisa. I know what I don't know, but I know about. I don't know exactly the painting and its composition and its story. I know the scene, the Last Supper of Jesus, which is got so controversy. They discovered lately that the pieces of breadcrumbs on the table was a 40-note partition making a melody, and he encoded that in his painting. Leonardo da Vinci was famous for perspective and for hiding things by angles of vision and shadow and sfumato and those techniques. So he's an interesting character, isn't he? His life is full of mystery, and so his paintings are. And I would like to show you this painting called La Vierge au Rocher. Now, first of all, there's not one, but two paintings. And again, Leonardo didn't paint that many paintings in his life, less than 20, I'd say. This one is two versions, and I'm going to tell you the history and the story because something on this drawing is absolutely incredible. So it's supposed to be the archangel or angel Uriel with his red gown there, who is introducing Saint John the Baptist as a child to Jesus as a child, with Mary, his mother, next to him. And this supposedly reveals one of the Bible event. I think it's the Corinthian, but I'm not that good with the Bible, where they describe that Saint John the Baptist and Jesus knew each other as soon as they were toddlers. And the composition is made of those four people. And at the background, what do you see? You see some kind of a cave. One is leading to water. I'll zoom in later. And one is leading to a vertical piece of rock. And since Rennes le Chateau, I'm looking for things in paintings that are not obvious. And you wouldn't believe how many we found, how many I found in there. And I'll introduce you to it. So this painting was painted twice. On the left-hand side is the original painting that you can see nowadays at the Louvre Museum. And on the right-hand side is the National Gallery in the UK version, because Da Vinci drew this painting twice. The expert certified that the left-hand side, the original version, was painted by Leonardo because of the timeline where he was and some technique. They got doubts about the second version that came later. They think Leonardo da Vinci composed it, but it was realized and painted by one of his disciples and his team, Giovanni Ambrogio de Predis, who I think is the same person who inherited, as Leonardo didn't have any family and children, he inherited of most of this document. I need to double cross that, but I think it is. On top of that, 3 years ago, the painting from National Geographic was X-rayed, and it was revealed, I'm going to show you, that the original compositions got nothing to do with what he finally delivered. So a bit of mystery there. And we're going to see that this painting's got something to hide for us. So the Confrérie de l'Immaculée Conception, which is a Franciscan order, this one in Italy, ordered that painting with a contract saying the Virgin Mary must be shown up with Jesus, and that's how they used to do religious painting contracts at the time. And Leonardo started to paint this in 1483, he's 30 years old, and he finished the painting 3 years later. because of the amount of work that he put into it, he asked for a salary extension, and the sponsor refused. And as a retaliation, or we don't know, I got that from Wikipedia history of that painting, the version 1 is sold to Ludovic Lemort. So the original sponsor, not seeing the piece of work they paid for, started a trial against Leonardo, and the trial lasted 25 years. And he committed to create a second version. The historians don't know if that second version started in 1491, and they give a range up to 1499. And the painting was finished in 1508 and delivered to that Franciscan order. But we have to understand that Leonardo left Milano, where the painting and his crew was painting it, for Venice in 1499. So he's probably not the one who finished it. Okay, so the most authentic from the hand of Leonardo is the first one. I spent quite some time on Rennes-le-Château, and I came to discover that especially this painting and others were full of geographic or geometric construction, that sometime, and I learned that at primary school, that painters in 1300 used triangle, and they would compose everybody around the triangle, so it would look harmonious. What the teacher didn't tell us at the time is that they would be very handy to hide other things through those lines. And that's Le Berger d'Arcadie, the Poussin, I think, or Ténier, I'm not sure which version. One version is Poussin, one version is Ténier. And it's one of the central riddle of Rennes-le-Château. And there's a theory that says Les Bergers d'Arcadie, the Arcady shepherd, where just remove the R after the A and you get the shepherd of Acadie, Acadian. Acadian is Nova Scotia in French. That's that region. But again, you have to remove one R. Why would you remove one R? But anyways, those painting with people showing things with their hands, their look, their stare and glance, and their position, have been analyzed as giving those signs. Why is it linked to our story? This is, you're gonna love it, or you're gonna tell me I'm just a crook, right? Look at this picture. You know this picture. This is Oak Island. This is a picture I stole from Dot to Dot, and that's the most basic geographic construction. Remember, on Dot to Dot's convention, anything in black is certified, meaning it's resulting from Fred Nolan survey, earlier surveys, or things that are still visible on the island today. And we got the Nolan cross, and I put it in green for a reason you're going to understand soon. We get the east-west line, which I call my backbone. No, sorry, which is my V to my first line I discovered, V to the center cross on La Rochefoucauld, but it's the east-west 90 degrees orientated line that cross the cross at that stone, and that give us one line where the 45,522 location is. Very important line. I mean, Nolan Cross plus these lines are the two most important lines we ever worked with. And I colored in blue the mirror of that line red on top, which is an imaginary line, right? It's not physically, but we know it exists by construction. I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to memorize that cross, that line that goes with an angle and hits the midstone, we call it, and that blue line underneath. You got that geometric in top of your mind? Okay. When I took information about that painting, La Vierge au Rocher, I went to Wikipedia, and I was reading that thing. And now, pay close attention. I was reading, this is the Wikipedia French page about La Vierge au Rocher, a big page, as you can see, the scroller. I arrive at the composition page. How is it composed? By a triangle, blah, blah. And I saw this. I mean, this. I did not write any line on this photo. This is Le Louvre Museum providing on the French Wikipedia page of that painting the composition of the painting. Now, I'm just going to go back 2 slides, okay? I want to make sure we understand each other. That's Oak Island. Geography. That's an east-west 90-degree line. Nothing more natural than an east-west line. That's Nolan Cross. That's certified. It's there. And what we find on this table is Nolan's cross, or a cross that is, and that line's got the same angle and hits that Nolan cross at the same point. And I didn't draw that. That's the Louvre Museum who drew that. And it's on the Wikipedia page. You can go now. And when I saw that, I'm like, no, wait, no, 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 no. I'm tripping. That can't be. That's a coincidence. It cannot be. But it's Leonardo da Vinci. He hides things. We know that in his table. And there's a big hydraulic system on the island, right? Who can come up with such hydraulic precision? I mean, I'm not saying that he wrote La Formula or he wrote La Rochefoucauld map. I'm just saying on his drawing, he hid the construction that scholars, people whose job is to analyze painting, say, or I say, this is the Oak Island model. I keep silent because I'm still amazed. Is it a coincidence? Those angles are the same. Well, let's go one step further. I'm now aligning those lines and I'm overlaying those lines by, you see the two paintings. I'm using transparency. I put it at scale. I mean, we're working with Nolan's cross on the island and a photo of a painting. Yes, I allow myself to have 1 degree discrepancy. But when I make the cross match with the right scale, it all matches, right? That's just mind blasting. Okay, it's a coincidence. Fair enough. But what the heck? There starts to be many coincidences in our videos now. About the sign, about the sounds that match on the island and the number of corresponding points we find. And now we find that in a painting that's from 1493, I think. The geography and the geometry of the island, Northern's Cross and stuff, is there. So who copied who? Could be people going on Oak Island, having that painting at hand, saying, hey, I'm going to reproduce on an island a cross that matches the hidden triangle and cross that Da Vinci put in. No, come on, I don't believe that. I believe Vinci knew about the island. It's heavy what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If you draw that, you know about that. It's not by chance. And that painting, oh yeah, that's another funny one. When I first got my hands on it, I tried many things because I didn't read the wiki page at the time. I had the picture and I was saying, okay, oh my gosh, they look at each other. Look, the eyes and the... I found exactly the 27-degree angle. Remember, 27 is an important number. 27 degree is between the eye of Jesus as a child to the bottom of the hand of Mary, and the eye of Jesus to the eyes of Jean-Baptiste is exactly 27 degree. And that line that points the finger is a horizontal line, right? That's okay. In paintings of the Renaissance and Da Vinci, you find those elements of fingers pushing on an eye and the same. But you don't find 27 degree, which is a recurrent number in our riddles, and you don't find the Nolan's cross and that east-west line on the painting, usually. Anyways, and I was fooling around then, or before. Well, I managed to stick the island right into that painting, but I think that's, shouldn't pay attention to that. La Formula fits in that cheek and down to nose, but you shouldn't pay much attention about that. That painting in the middle, where everybody's pointing, I see a cave there. I see the entrance of a cave. Okay? That's what I believe it is. But wait, there's more. That's Mary, and look at the way he drew. When I saw that button, that ornament, I thought it was the eye of a fish. I found my fish. Look at those lines here on that circular line that I try to reproduce by hand. That's how would you draw the back of a fish, the tail, not the tail, right before the tail. Here, that abdomen ending, and then the tail is underneath. Am I making that up? Well, maybe, could be, but I see scales there also. I mean, yeah, I do see a fish there. Our fish. You want another one? At the top of the image, hidden in the leaves, I've got that strange picture there. I can see a cross with a ring, and that reminded me a lot of that cross they found on the island. And again, that cross they found on the island is mysterious to me. Why that this seems to be an important device. We cross its path often. Why would you find that only buried a couple of inches under the soil? Did somebody leave it there? Is it something that was planted there? It's too perfect to find it there. And again, that Da Vinci here, he drew something. You will not get out of my mind. Something's drawn there. I found a bird earlier, but I can't figure it out anymore where the bird is. But I found the first time I saw it, I found a bird in there. So interesting, huh? And I think I missed a slide, which is the original composition that he made, and it's not at all the composition of those paintings. This is what I believe, but that's very personal, and I wouldn't put $1 on this story. Is that when the painting was ordered, um, he had a contract, and he was supposed to draw it this way, that way, etc. And he made the first drawings with a pen and made some trials and made a first composition of all he had to make on this painting. There's a legend and a rumor, and I can't confirm it, that we know about Da Vinci's life except 2 years where he kind of disappeared. I'm putting forward the crazy theory that so he took that order, he's starting to draw the main lines of the composition. He went to Oak Island one way or another. Maybe he did the hydraulic that didn't exist at the time. It was just a burying place with channels, and he created the booby trap. And he came back to Europe, and he decided to change his painting drastically in order to embed some information about Oak Island geometry. And that he sold that painting to somebody who was not the original buyer on purpose as a legacy. And by trial, he was forced to paint a second one, or he started it. And you can see some of that triangle with the hands, but the hand of Uriel the angel disappeared, and he made several changes. And the more you look at those paintings, and the more you find odd things. Remember here at the background in both cases, you have on the right hand side something like a cave ending up on a big pillar. On the left hand side, you can see water, and it's if you zoom in, it is water, and it's two places that might be related to Oak Island, as my next video will try to explain you, but that's a big secret I'm about to reveal. This is kind of the wrap-up video of the first part, which is the riddle and the lines and the dots. We're going to enter now in a second layer of that Rochefoucauld map, starting from next video, probably tomorrow, because it's getting late now in France. But I can reassure you, it's worth, and you're not going to believe your eyes, because we didn't believe our eyes. And when we saw what I'm going to reveal you from next video on, we had to stop, and that's when we stopped broadcasting for a week, and I relaunched that's the discovery we found. But this one amazes me, because what else could it be? And I didn't draw this. That's the Louvre National Museum who explains that's how he composed his drawing. That's just, to me, mind blasting. And we could be so wrong. It could be a coincidence. It could be a hoax that people placed the Nolan's cross on the island, getting inspired by a Da Vinci painting that nobody ever saw. I mean, come on, something strange there. It's too much of a coincidence, I believe. I'm going to leave you to this. We got other things coming up, and we're very excited because we show each other in the team what we find, and we're like, no way, that's great, you have to publish this. So both from Dot to Dot and myself, we got great things coming. Stay tuned. Enjoy this, I hope, and we'll have the pleasure to talk to you soon. Bye bye. Thank you.